You know, since the last time we meet, and then today we meet up, yeah, you come a long way. Look at the big grin you got on your face. So whatever we're talking about, well, I can tell you're feeling a lot better. And by talking as well, you know, you're sharing information, and there's no criticism, there is no judgmental, you know, we're just constantly talking to each other as friends.
I totally agree. As they say, as we mentioned in the last talk, laughter is the best form of medicine. And the best thing is definitely when you do talk to somebody, you feel a lot better. You feel like, there's no pressure on the brain, there's no pressure in the mind. Everything's been like eradicated from the system, and which is important, isn't it? I mean, I can't speak for all men, but I can speak for my own behalf. Yeah. It's important to basically talk about whatever's going on, regardless of how how tough a person may look, how big that person may be. Deep down inside you, there is something that is bottled up.
Yeah, and if you don't know what's going on inside.
No, you don't. I mean, it's like for creative people like myself and yourself as well. I think being creative is a way of escaping the horrors of, call it, everyday life, and to go to a world where you can just feel like the real self of yourself is there. Like the real version of yourself is there. Whether it's, being a writer, whether it's being an actor, whether it's writing a poem, for example, you could feel like the real version of you is coming out. Or even like a musician, like certain individuals you and I know. And, sweet people, I must say. But it's great to be creative, and you don't have to be like everybody else.
I think with my creative, the sun is coming out. And if I've got so many things built up in me, I go in the garden and start doing the gardening. But I like to sit on my bottom and do the garden and dig the weed out. I'm in a world of my own. So I'm thinking, do I need to fly out of a parachute? Do I need to fly? So I'm in a world where I am calm and relaxed. The world is gone by without me seeing it. And I'm quite happy with that. And then when I come in, I just thought, I enjoy that garden. What about you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, garden is like basically a
gardening.
Gardening, sorry, yes. Grammatical error. I do apologize. So basically, gardening, it's like a place of serenity. You can go there, you can feel, you don't even feel lost. You feel like once you closed your eyes and you can hear the beautiful sounds of nature, you are basically, as they say, every disease mankind creates, because mankind can basically cause themselves stress by stressing, by basically bringing on themselves unnecessary stress, unnecessary.
Something that you can't control.
Yeah, exactly, because sometimes it's buried deep inside you, and when you go and find yourself, one great quote I heard from a very amazing philosophy teacher, he said, was, sometimes you have to lose your mind in order to come to your senses.
I always lose my mind anyway.
I think we all do.
It's like today I was thinking, I've been thinking about this for a while now, is just to go near the, like, where crowd is, listen to my music, or go and walk on the bank, and then, boy, I'll have my music on. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to do some dancing and everything, because that is another creative. But society with human beings see you doing that, and they think you're mental. But it's not. For you, it's relaxing, and I would advise people to do that. Use music as well, because I love music. Depends on the type of music, and just relax and just let the world go by.
The best way of doing it is just like trying to develop that attitude and that mentality is, if somebody's going to look at you and try and pass judgment, it's like, who are you, right? Exactly. I'm sorry, who are you again? Do you live my life? Let me check. No, I believe you don't. Go away. I don't need your negativity or yourself. The best way of just doing that.
But I am fascinated. I'm really fascinated about how the brain works and the mind works and how we perceive information, because sometimes we are our worst enemy. There is loads of things out there, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a student, you just go spend time on your own and think about you, how you feel. What can I achieve? What can I do? How I go about it? But sometimes by talking to somebody, it could be an auntie or uncle, but some days you ain't got any family here at all. A good close friend, or even a perfect stranger, they will listen.
That is true. I mean, some people who talk to, like, say, a trained professional, like a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a counselor, they, sometimes they get mocked out. Like, why are you talking to a complete stranger for? You might as well talk to somebody out on the street. And it's like, because sometimes you need to have a fresh perspective of information. Because sometimes they can easily dissect where that problem is within you.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it's true. They can say, okay, when did this happen? It happened at this time. Okay, so because of that, you feel like you've been haunted forever because of this certain aspect of what the certain thing that happened to you in your life, which is good. And they're amazing people. Hats off to them.
And also for me personally, I know when something wrong with my family, I just have to look at their face or their expression or their body language, and I can pick up something is worrying them. And I usually say to them, who upset you now? What you thinking? What's going on? And only answer, nothing. Yeah, I'm all right, which I know from a mother's point of view, no, something is wrong. So eventually I get them to talk. And I think for me, I achieve a lot. Because they buckle it up maybe for months, years. But no, I know how to get around my children. Now, even if he's a student, I need help and support. Yeah, the Project Empathy is there for you.
That's brilliant, because especially, as you've just mentioned regarding students, it's really difficult for people to, pack up their lives and go live off in another city or live off in another country. They come from, tens of miles away, hundreds of miles away, thousands of miles away. They've left everything they knew and everybody they knew back home. They basically feel like lost in a new world, strangers in a new world in other ways, because it takes them time to become to find friends who can eventually become kind of like adopted family. They kind of like adopt a family along the way, don't they?
Yeah, but I can understand how they feel, because even if you move to a new area, you don't know anybody, and it's going to be hard. It's not everybody make friends easily, yeah, and it's not everybody is very talkative as well. So we have to be able to work out a way to be able to listen. There is two things: we can talk, and we can say, "Are you listening?" Yeah, but are we hearing what the person says? From a man's point of view, how do you feel about that?
Well, that is true. I mean, sometimes when you sit there and you're talking to somebody and they're like this, it's like you can just sense the ignorance from that individual. Yeah. And it's like as you mentioned, there is a difference between hearing and listening. Listening is actually hearing what that person is saying. Exactly, yeah, you're hearing what that person is saying. Hearing is just be like, you're just hearing that, oh, yeah, sure, whatever, yeah, fine, go ahead, do that and do that. They're not even paying any attention. It's like, if it's not about them, it's not relevant. Or
if not, they're bringing in their own problem. It's either money, it's either relationship, it's either... But I can understand student who coming over from a different country. It's like when I first came here, it was all new to me. The communication was different, the language was different. Sometimes, even now, you can hardly understand. So it's every culture. So they're going to need somebody more when they come here as a student, to make friends with, but it's always somebody that they can trust. And trust is a big responsibility, because when you talk to somebody, one of the biggest things, are they going to report it to somebody? Are they going to tell my friends? Because sometimes they don't want anybody else to know.
Well, that's true. You have to respect that decision at the end of the day, because trust is something that is not handed to you on a plate. It takes years to build, but it could take less than a few seconds to destroy. And once it's been destroyed, it's never going to be able to rebuild itself, is it?
Yeah.
It's easy to rebuild a house again from scratch. But when it comes to trust, that is not a very easy thing to rebuild once you've shattered it.
And I think this is a good thing about the Project Empathy. It's all confidential. It's all private. It do not share unless it's information, unless it's to the necessarily organization with consent.
That's true. And like I say, contact Project Empathy for your needs. We are here for you. All our information is on the website.